Lake Te Anau covers an area of about 344 square kilometres, which makes it one of the largest glacial lakes in New Zealand. Our destination, the Hollyford, is an isolated but spectacular valley set on the northeastern side of Fiordland National Park. The famous root burn track runs along the eastern side, while a rugged mountain range lies to the west. This gravel access road runs for about 16 kilometres through the valley floor. We're going to be based about halfway down at Gunn's camp. But don't let the name fool you, we're only hunting with cameras on this trip. It's our first morning and we're off to a slow start, but we've finally made up our mind where we're heading. Thought we'll just cruise down the road a bit further, and there's some good looking country across the river there. She's pretty steep, but once you get up high it looks like there's some nice basins up there. So I'll have a look up there. It's always good to explore a bit of new country. One of the first things we look for when we head into a new area is fresh deer sign. If there's no sign in an area, there's probably no deer there. And it just so happens a stag's been through here last night, I would say. It's pretty fresh. He stepped right in here. See where he's gone up into there. And that's of course what we're looking for, being the roar and all. So that's where we're heading. Things were looking really promising, and it's not long before we find more evidence of deer. Well, this is really good to see. I mean, we're always looking for any sign of a stag around the area, whether it's a bit of fresh rubbings or marks on the ground and that sort of thing. But this actually gives us an idea of the whole potential of the stags around the area. This has got 7 points on it, so if the other side is anything to go by, you've got a 14 pointer, which of course is fantastic. And the stags, of course, they cast their antlers every year and grow a new set. So this could get bigger and bigger until he reaches his full potential, and then they'll start to go backwards as they get older. We used to find a lot of these years ago, and of course a lot higher deer numbers. Now it's quite a novelty to actually find one, but I might actually take that with me. Looks quite good. There's always a chance of getting a tine through the belly on a trip like this. The stags are irritable and moody, which makes April an exciting and potentially dangerous time of year. This particular stag was shot by a local just before we got there. In areas like Fiordland, where there's a lot of rainfall, we always encounter a lot of streams. In fact, there's only one place where the sound of water is no longer present: the tops of the ranges. We're after roaring stags, so at this time of year a stag can reveal his location by answering your call.
It's only 10 past 2 in the afternoon, so it's unusual to see a stag out at this time of the day like that. There's a lot of crappy stuff between us and the stag. We can't go above him because there's bluffs, so we're going to make our way around here through the bush and try and swing around to the side of him and see if we can call him into us. Quite ambitious, really.
Red deer were introduced into New Zealand back in the 1800s, 100 years later they were so plentiful and widespread that it was not unusual to see large mobs out on clearings and river flats. However, these days, after decades of culling, commercial hunting, sport hunting and various other governmental reduction programs, numbers are only a fraction of what they used to be, and in many areas they can be very difficult to find.
It's Murphy's, isn't it?
This stag was coming in fast, and unfortunately we didn't have time to adjust our position according to the wind. As it turned out, he ended up spotting us before he smelt us.
That stag came in fast. We only just heard him roar. It's beautiful swampy country, but I'll tell you something. I had to shoot. He'd stopped, and I knew instantly when he stopped like that, and he's just almost going to smell us. And it's hard to get them going again, so I had to take the shot. Are you angry about that?
Oh no. No, well, he stopped. I knew he was looking straight at us.
Yeah, he came in nicely. Very light coloured, wasn't he?
Yeah.
It's timber.
Yeah.
Let's see if we got a shot. Oh, God, please. Oh, well, there you go. I mean, that's all you can do. You've just got to take the shot at times. Can you see anything, Steve? There is it.
Yep,
There's his face. There's his timber.
Yep.
Right. Exciting. Just quick. Bang. And there it is. It's all
isn't
he came up beautifully. That's how we love him. Anyway, there was a little moan here. Oh, now there's not. That's a bark.
Yeah, that's a bark.
Red stag barking. Quiet. No! We're probably 2 hours up from the bottom. On the roads down the bottom there, climbed a long way up. No sign on the way up, but just got into a little bit of action just here. Like there was that earlier stag just on that big open slip thing, and he smelt us or something. Got nothing there, and then this guy. It's great.
We were lucky to get a shot, but it's not quite as good as we were hoping for, so we've decided to call it a day and head back to camp. A warm fire, a good feed, and a German ukulele player. What more could you ask for at the conclusion of our first day? Our second day in the Hollyford is another cracker, fine and calm. These open rocky stream beds can be great for fast access, but they do limit your ability to hear far. We very nearly passed the stag by without even knowing he was there, as we only just faintly heard him over the creek noise.
We're going to have to head up toward him. Sounds like he's just going to hold his ground, and we'll get him a bit closer and see if he'll come in. You happy with that?
We thought he was at the base of the slope, but he turned out to be up the side of a steep rocky face, and it didn't appear he wanted to move. However, after a bit of persuasion, we managed to entice him down.
Could you see him or not? I thought you had that punga in your face.
Yeah, I saw a bit of him.
I couldn't shoot him. Couldn't move, he's just... It's just a bit steep, eh? If it was just... It's a hard game, I promise you. Anyway, what do we do, Steve? Sneak up and see if we can get a little peek. I wanted him to come really close, but it's not really ideal, eh? The position.
Well, as you can see, that river's quite violent there, the Hollyford. Further up it was a bit of a gorge, and we've done a big circle. We crossed way down the river earlier this morning at a nice wide piece, came up, hit the tops, right along, and we've come back way up here and worked our way to the spot here. This is the best spot we've got. We're bluffed there. And what I've got is I've got a stick. I've picked up a strong stick. That's hopefully going to give me support as I cross these streams. Never underestimate the power of the water. Seriously.
Well, that was quite intriguing. We're just making our way up the slope here, trying to get around these bluffs, and it's quite thick through here. Next thing I hear this bit of commotion just above me in a tree, and I look up and there's these two little birds stuck together like Siamese twins, squabbling around, and I thought, what the heck are they doing? Next thing, they basically fell right to the ground, and they're shuffling on the ground, and I thought first they're probably having a fight or something. I whipped the camera out. Next thing, they go down to a puddle of water, and there they are, totally joined together, and then I realised they're probably mating. Quite fascinating, really. Never seen it quite like that going on. But you never know what you're going to see around here. Love is definitely in the air, but we're not talking about chocolate and roses. This stag has really got himself wound up. Something's bothering us today, and it often interferes with our results when hunting.
Wind doesn't feel very good.
The wind can be your best friend or your worst enemy. Well, actually I can't think of when it's your best friend, except maybe if you're windsurfing. Anyway, we try to stay downwind of the stag so he doesn't smell us, but one swirl in the wrong direction and hours of intense disciplined stalking are down the tubes in a second. The different tones of the stag make it sound like there's more than one. Wrong. Actually, it's just one stag with a great vocal range. He's so worked up it sounds like he's going to burst. Makes you wonder how high he can go.
I'll stay here and give a few roars and Steve can go on up and see what he can get.
This youngster obviously thinks we've got a hind down here, or he thinks we're after his. It's hard to know whether he's angry or frustrated, but he's still not moving, so I'm going to have to try and get in closer. It's always a risk, because the closer I get, the more chance there is of spooking him. How hard is that?
Oh, there's a lot to be said for hunting flat areas, I'll tell you. But damn, it's slippery. Slippery and steep as usual, and they're usually in an ugly little spot. Well, when we come across them, they are. I was saying back there, sounds like he's one of the three tenors. The idea of the game is to get them to come into you close, doing that. Boom, boom, boom. A couple of good shots, that's when you get the real beauties. But it's hard work. Spectacular valley, this one, the Hollyford. A lot of history in this valley. You can see Gunn's camp down there, well down there. We might go and take a look at the museum in there.
Earlier we popped into the museum to learn a little bit more about the Hollyford Valley and meet the managers who run it.
This is a place where we think a hard drive is when you've got to cut your way to here with a chainsaw, and where a floppy disc is when you put your back out carrying a stag out. G'day, welcome to Gunn's camp in the Hollyford Valley. You're now in the museum, and it was named after the Gunn family, principally Davey and Murray. Lots of paraphernalia in here. Some of old Davy's guns. Grandma's iron here. This is a challenge for the girls. They used to put that on the old coal range, and it weighs the equivalent of 1 stone, 14 pounds. So we get all the girls to lift that. And here's one to make the kids grizzle actually. That there is the original dentist drill. Right, and they used to stick it in your mouth and grind away while they were peddling, and you didn't have injections, mate. Ouch! That's what made men men. Around here we have pictures of the original museum, which burnt down in 1990, and poor old Murray lost a terrific amount of stuff in that, but fortunately he was helped out by the locals. They rallied round and helped him to recreate this. We have great pictures here of the building of the road. That's the Milford Road, and the tunnel. It was a monumental job in itself, and man, were they tough buggers when you think of it. The original structures they lived in were canvas sided. They could have a metre of snow around them. They were dodging avalanches. When you drive over that road, you wouldn't have a clue of the hardships those people put up with. Legends in their own right, really. Unfortunately, in 1955 on Christmas Day, Davy Gunn was drowned in the Hollyford River when his horse rolled, and Davy went under the rapids. He had a 10-year-old boy on the back. Both drowned. They found the boy, but Davy was never found. We even have the saddle right here that Davy drowned on. So in 1955, Murray Gunn, Davy's son, he took over the business and continued to run it as a tourist camp. He's the man who accumulated all this stuff here in the museum. He put a huge amount of effort into that, and that legacy belongs to him. Just mention the fact that after Murray left here, he put it in a trust, and it's been run by trustees, and they do a great job. A lot of people have been intimately involved with old Murray over the years, and they kept it going, and so we're privileged to manage it on their behalf. So all I can say, folks, is if you get a chance, come to Gunn's Camp. Every Kiwi should do it. It's part of our history. Do it. Make sure you bring yourself and your kids in here. We love to see kids here. They're the next generation we want to see looking after places like this.
Boy, that's one of the hardest stags we've ever had, isn't it? I could see that Steve was just getting a bit of stuff a bit closer because we had to send someone in. And so then I thought, oh yeah, I'll pop my nose over here. And next thing, the stag just walked back.
And as you can see from the leftover bones here, there's not much meat on that, so there's very little wastage. And that's just the way we do it.